Hello, good morning. If you don't mind, I'll keep my cup of coffee nearby. We Israelis are addicted to caffeine, and at this time of the morning, I definitely need my third cup of coffee. So it's right here. Thank you very much for inviting a representative of the Embassy of Israel to participate in this event today. It's a very good opportunity to hear different opinions and views about the state of Israel. You can't hear? Better now? Okay. It's a good opportunity to hear different views and opinions about the state of Israel and to examine developments in our immediate neighborhood in the Middle East. It is an honor to participate in the second Israel Symposium organized by BZD. And Fran Sonnenschein, where is she? Is a close friend of the embassy and works very closely with us. So thank you, Fran, for organizing this event. I would like to start with the Holocaust Day. I don't know if you're aware of it, but tonight will mark Israeli Remembrance Day of the Holocaust. We'll mark it tomorrow as well. Tomorrow morning we're organizing a ceremony at the Embassy of Israel. And in a matter of days, we'll mark the IDF Memorial Day, and immediately afterwards, Israeli Independence Day. These three dates are always closely linked. And during the first formative years of the State of Israel, there were some discussions about it, why these events, pardon me? You still can't hear me. Okay. I'll have to swallow this mic. Better now? There. Okay. During the formative years of the State of Israel, there were some discussions why these three events should be so closely linked. And being a descendant of Holocaust survivors, I have to tell you that we in our family understand very well. My four grandparents were all Holocaust survivors. They came to Israel in the 50s, where they rebuilt themselves, their families. Many of them lost relatives, their former first families in the Holocaust. And they came to Israel and had to find jobs and educate their children and learn a way of getting connected to their old and their new homeland. There is one lesson that I learned from my grandparents, which was very, very important and accompanied my early childhood and later on. Today, I teach it to my children as an Israeli diplomat, that the state of Israel is our salvation, and it should be protected, and it is a refuge and a safe haven for us Israelis and for Jews all over the world. This commitment to the state, this very strong notion of Zionism accompanied me and my family, and many other Israelis, to that matter, who moved to Israel, who immigrated from other countries, from the former Soviet Union, from Ethiopia, from all over the world. When we look at Israel today, and this year will mark the 63rd year of the State of Israel, we see dramatic developments and amazing achievements. When we talk about Israeli economy, we all remember Jaffa oranges, which was the main field of export to the American market, to the European market, usually just before Christmas. We evolved from that economy, relying on citrus fruit, to an economy that is one of the leading in the world, which relies heavily on high-tech. Israel has a leading technology, sometimes used for military purposes and later adopted to civilian use. And our young men and women, after they finish their military service, become the building blocks of Israeli economy. They're very active in Israel itself, as well as in other countries. You see them in the greater Baltimore area, you see them in Virginia, and in Silicon Valley, all around the United States, bursting with ideas and concepts and originality. This is our power, this is our strength. Socially speaking, Israel has evolved dramatically in 63 years. At that time, during the formative years of the State of Israel, we adopted an approach of a melting pot, creating the new Israeli. And our education system was directed to that. The Israeli Defense Forces, again, participated in that effort of creating the new Israeli, the Sabra, very different than the Holocaust survivor. At the time, there was a serious gap of culture between these generations. And now Israel has turned to be a multicultural, a very diverse society. We have our own struggles from within, we have our own battles, gaps, tension. It is more fragmented than it used to be in the past, and that indeed brings up a lot of questions when it comes to relations between Jews and Arabs in Israel, between Israeli-born and new immigrants, and so on. Israel has developed dramatically when it comes to regional affairs. During the first years of Israel, we were pretty much isolated, which contributed greatly to our economy because we had to look for other markets. We couldn't export to any other country in the Middle East, and we had to look for other options. And then in 1979, we signed our first peace agreement with Egypt, and later on 1994 with Jordan. We've been involved for quite a few years in negotiations with the Palestinians with varying levels of success. And now we see the Middle East changing very dramatically, very quickly before our eyes, and we have to adapt to this new situation. What is on Israel's agenda today? And I will talk shortly about that. There is a Chinese curse, I don't know if you're familiar with it. May you live in interesting times. And indeed, we live in very interesting times in our region. We witness a struggle between radicals and moderates in the Middle East, and this struggle, this tension reflects on every aspect of our politics and our relations with our neighboring countries. For example, when we talk about the Israeli agenda, the top issue, the top subject is Iran, actually, and I know that the international media concentrates more about the collapse of regimes in the Middle East, but Iran is very high on our agenda. This is an extremely important issue. Not only the Iranian involvement, direct involvement in our region, but mainly the support it provides to its two proxies in the Middle East. One of them is Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and the other is Hamas in Gaza. Iran is a regime that is a violator of human rights, a regime that is led by a president who is a Holocaust denier. We witness a continuous effort of the Iranian regime to obtain nuclear capabilities, hand in hand with a refusal to cooperate with the international community to provide information about nuclear facilities in Iran and so on. We see this as a threat, as an immediate threat, not only to Israel, but to the neighboring countries in the region, as well as to other countries in the world. And there is full understanding between Israel and the United States when it comes to Iran. We fully support the American approach to the Iranian issue, that of a dual track. On one hand, calling the Iranians to participate in a dialogue, opening up their facilities, providing information to the international community, and on the other hand, adopting crippling sanctions against Iran to stop their efforts. For the time being, without too much success. Another very important issue on the Israeli agenda is the Israeli-Palestinian track. And I would like to differentiate here between the situation in Gaza and between the situation in the West Bank. You follow Israeli news, you follow developments in Israel, so we won't go through the long list of negotiations and agreements and memoranda of understanding between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. And the level of success is indeed fluctuating, changing. It's a tango dance, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. But what we see now is actually a certain situation in Gaza, an entirely different situation in the West Bank, where in Gaza we see an area that is controlled by a terror organization, Hamas, a proxy of Iran. On the other hand, in Gaza, in the West Bank, we see economic developments, we see dramatic achievements and more stability. Still, 2 issues that we have to pay attention to in the West, in our relations with the Palestinians. One of them is an agreement that was signed between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. This is very worrying when it comes to Israel, as Hamas, a terror organization, recognized as a terror organization by the United States, by the European Union, by other countries in the world, refuses to acknowledge the sovereignty, the right of existence of the State of Israel. Another subject that is on our agenda when it comes to Palestinian affairs is the current discussions between Egypt and between the Palestinian Authority about opening up the Rafah border crossing and enabling movement between Egypt and Gaza. These 2 main subjects are accompanied by great developments in our region. We see a wave, a ripple effect of changes moving from Tunisia to Egypt, rise of Hezbollah-supported government in Lebanon, and in Syria, the brutality of the regime towards protesters, a lot of developments, a lot of dramatic changes. Israel is a democracy. It's always been a democracy for 63 years, almost 63 years now. We've never had an interregnum of any other regime. It's a strong and stable democracy, and we definitely support democratization. But when it comes to the situation in the Middle East, democratization should come hand in hand with stability. We believe that you cannot separate, these 2 things cannot be separated. Democratization should come with stability in order to enable the region to move forward. So in a situation today, Israel should adjust to a constantly and rapidly changing Middle East. Our immediate neighborhood is almost new to us. And we have to carefully navigate in these very murky waters. I could go on and on, but there are other speakers here. So thank you very much for your time, for your attention, and for attending this event today. Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you, Galit.